Anytime you attempt to follow up or do something that goes against the norm, you are going to be confronted with opposition. There are people who are going to say, yeah, no, that's not going to work. There are people that are going to look at you and throw their hands up in despair or roll their eyes like, my goodness, there she goes again, trying God knows what. So anything that goes out of the norm, everyone's doing one thing, and here you are trying to do something different, it's going to create resistance. You are going to have opposition. Expect that. And the reason I say that is because when we deal with soul, whether it's for our health, mental, emotional, or physical, or whether it's as a business, we're going to find people that go against us because it's not the norm. People usually will go to the doctor and do conventional medicine before they even try something natural. People will have businesses where they clock in and clock out before they even try to do their own business. And all this brings me back to a place where I just recently came back from. The beautiful country of France with its beautiful city of Paris. And one of the things that I was thinking of as I read up on the Tower of Eiffel and walked towards it and then stood right in front of this monument was a lot of people look at it and say, well, I don't even know what this building is for, or I don't even know what purpose it serves. But one of the neat things I thought of as I stood in front of it, and by the way, it has had a lot of purposes through the years. I mean, it's worked as a radio transmitter, as an observatory for cosmic rays, as a announcement of a car manufacturer, as radio transmitter of television Nazi programs back in the day. So it's had a lot of functions, by the way, to those that argue that this tower does nothing. But as I stood in front of it, I thought, this gentleman, Mr. Eiffel, faced a lot of opposition when he decided that he would create this monument and build it in a much shorter time than any other comparable taller buildings that existed in that time. In fact, when it came up in the late 1800s, it was the building that surpassed all the other ones in height. And the best thing about it was he did it in a year and a half when these other ones had taken 30 some years or more to build. But as he constructed this, and his idea was, I'll construct it for the fair and I'll bring it right back down as fast as I made it, hoping he wouldn't have to, but he was prepared for that. It had so much opposition when it came up. There were actually 300 poets and artists that got together. I think they were called the Committee of 300, who opposed this in an open letter to Mr. Eiffel of all the reasons why it was an insult to Paris and the beauty of Paris and how this building was going to be horrible. And today you can't think of Paris without thinking of the Eiffel Tower. Today, millions of people travel to this place just to see the Eiffel Tower. So if he had allowed all this opposition to knock him down, today we wouldn't have the Eiffel Tower. But he made it something valuable. He used his resources when he did not receive enough funding to make this tower. He used up to $1.5 million of his money to make this tower. That's why it earned his name, right? The Eiffel Tower. He committed himself to this project because he believed in it. He backed it up because he believed in it. And as I thought of all that, and I presenced this amazing thing, structure, tower, I thought how wonderful it would be if we felt that way about everything we do in our lives. If we felt that way about a health course and journey when we begin it. If we felt that way about our business with soul when we begin to walk it, when we begin to establish it. If we didn't give up on either one, on where our health is concerned or where our business is concerned. If we didn't give up right away when we get all this opposition from people that say, oh, come on, you can't do that. You can't give in or turn in your 9-to-5 job for this business that you're going to develop when you don't even know if it's going to go well. You have to learn to invest something in what you believe in. That's what Eiffel did. He believed so much in his structure that he invested $1.5 million of his money. $1 million. $1,500,000. What are you willing to invest in what you believe? What are you willing to invest and back up in your business? Your time, effort, what? Because you have to back it up so that other people can see the value behind what you are promoting. So if you believe in soul enough to want to stay on it to get well, then you have to be on it for a good amount of time. And then that's your investment, the time I have on it. And time will definitely show the people around you that you were right and they were not. But as I thought of this Eiffel Tower and stood in front of it, I thought of all the things that we can learn from such a structure and how many things this gentleman had to face and how he was prepared to actually respond, because he had cultivated friendships throughout the years with civil engineers, with architects, with investment people. And so he was able to actually be convincing enough to want them to back him up on this project. He gave it value. He said, I'm going to show France, I'm going to show Paris why this is needed in this country, why this is needed not just as an icon that's going to indicate the technology advancements of this country, but also the value it has. And so he worked hard to show how it would be beneficial in terms of gauging temperature in that time and what have you. You can read the history. This is not a history video. But he looked for ways to give it value. So look for ways to do the same with what you believe in. You believe soul will get you to where you need to be health-wise, then you need to be willing to commit and stay on your programs. You believe this is a business you can develop, you need to be willing to spend the time and not give up easily. I can't do this. It isn't working. People aren't responding. People don't want soul. People don't. You have to be able to back it up, to give it value, to show others how valuable it is to you. And the only way to show that is to stay the course. And as you do, you'll see that your health physically, emotionally, and mentally improves, and your status economically improves, because the more people see you stay on something, they'll look into it. Because when you give up, you lose the opportunity of convincing people that, hey, this works, I want to try it. So I hope this encourages you, and I hope that every time you think of the Eiffel Tower, you see more than a monument. You see how it can teach us that in order to be successful, we have to stay the course, and we have to be willing to invest, and we have to be willing to not let others around us convince us differently. And I hope that that is also the case for you with your health, that you stay and stick to your programs. And as you do, you'll see how much better you'll feel mentally, emotionally, and physically.